If you're learning AWS, let me ask you something. Honestly, after you finish a lab, do you actually clean up your resources? Because most beginners don't. And that is exactly how surprise AWS bills happen. It's not because AWS is evil, and it's not because you did something wrong. It's because AWS has a simple rule. It never deletes things for you. In this video, I'll show you the exact AWS services you need to delete after every lab, explain why they keep charging you, and give you a simple cleanup habit that will save you a ton of money and stress. So, why does this matter so much? AWS labs are fantastic for learning, but they always leave things behind. We're talking about instances, storage, networking, resources, all sorts of stuff. And AWS assumes that if you created it, you must want to keep it. So the rule for you should be simple. If the lab is done, the resources should be gone. Let's start with the number one offender, EC2 instances. This is the most common mistake by far. After a lab, people close their browser tab and completely forget that the instance is still running in the background. And if an EC2 instance is running, AWS is charging you for it every single hour. Here's what you need to do. Go to the EC2 console, click on Instances, and look for anything you aren't actively using. If the lab is finished, terminate it. Don't just stop it. Stopping an instance is fine for a short break, but for the long term, it can still cost you money in other ways, which brings me to my next point. EBS volumes. This is the sneaky one. When you terminate an EC2 instance, AWS often keeps the storage disk that was attached to it. That disk is called an EBS volume. And even if the instance is gone and the disk is completely empty, AWS will still charge you for that volume just for existing. So, your next cleanup step is to go to the EC2 console, and then under Elastic Block Store, click on Volumes. Look for any volumes that are marked as available. If there's no instance using it, you don't need it. Delete it. Next up, snapshots. Snapshots feel harmless, right? They're just small backups, until you forget about them. After a few labs, you can easily end up with 10, 20, even 30 snapshots sitting in your account. And while each one might be small, they all add up and cost you money over time. So, head over to the EC2 console again and find snapshots. Go through the list and delete any snapshots that were created for labs. Only keep the ones you know you absolutely need for a real backup. Now let's talk about Elastic IP addresses. Elastic IPs are free, but only when they are attached to a running EC2 instance. The moment that instance is stopped or terminated, or if the IP is just sitting there unattached, AWS starts charging for it. This rule catches so many beginners off guard. The fix is simple. Go to EC2, find Elastic IPs, and release any that are unused. If you're not actively using it, get rid of it. Another big one, load balancers. Load balancers are powerful tools, but they are definitely not free. If a lab had you create an application load balancer or a network load balancer, AWS will charge you for it by the hour, even if it has zero traffic going through it. So, after your lab, go to EC2, click on Load Balancers, and delete any that were created for learning. Never leave them running just in case. This next one is a particularly expensive mistake to make, NAT gateways. These are very common in networking labs. The problem is, they cost a significant amount of money just for existing, and that's before you even factor in data transfer costs. Many beginners create one for a lab and then forget it's there. Your routine should include checking the VPC console. Go to NAT gateways and delete any that are unused. If it was created for a lab, remove it immediately. And of course, RDS databases. Databases are not cheap. If you spun up an RDS instance for a lab and forgot about it, AWS will keep charging you, even if nobody is using it. So, go to the RDS console, find your databases, and either stop or delete your lab databases. For learning purposes, just delete them. Finally, there's a silent cost creeper, CloudWatch logs. Almost every service in EC2, Lambda, you name it, creates logs. If the retention period for these logs is set to never expire, your storage costs will just slowly grow and grow over time. So go into CloudWatch, click on Log Groups, and either delete the logs from your labs or, better yet, set their retention period to something short, like 1 to 7 days. Lab logs don't need to be kept forever. So, here's a simple cleanup routine that actually works. After every single lab, make it a habit to run through this checklist. Check EC2 for instances and volumes. Check for load balancers. Check your VPC resources like NAT gateways. And finally, take a quick look at your billing dashboard. If the lab is done, delete everything you created for it. The final takeaway is this: AWS labs are for learning, not for long-term hosting. If you don't clean up, AWS will keep charging you. The bills will grow quietly, and the stress will show up later. Once you build this simple cleanup habit, using AWS becomes calm, predictable, and much more affordable. If this video helped you avoid wasting money on AWS, please give it a like. And if you're learning AWS and want more simple, honest explanations without the stress, be sure to subscribe. Now, tell me in the comments, which AWS service have you accidentally left running before? Thanks for watching.